Buongiorno, darlings. How are you today? We are talking about the full moon in Aries that we have coming up. So I used to work at a natural food market, and it was like one of the most stressful jobs I've ever had. We can talk about that later. And people would always ask, like, "Oh my God, Sarah, that sweater, you look so chic. Where'd you get it?" It was from Savers, I want to say, but I call it my dino sweater because I literally get to be a T-Rex. Look, I'm like, how chic is this actual ancient dinosaur? But hello everyone, welcome. This is your chair here. If we have not met, my name is Sarah. I am a healer, spiritual counselor, artist. I'm a starseed, basically a consciousness from a different time and space that has come down to help human beings during this time of the awakening and the ascension. And for me, I come from leadership. My human has been training teams for over 10 years. So I love and I'm so honored and blessed to have the, the ability to communicate with you and to connect and to help you make sense of a little bit of what's going on. So I am going to start off with a little bit of vocabulary. We're going to be going over this full moon, but I want to start off with a little bit, because of the title of the video, volatile energy. Volatile energy. So I have from Collins Street. I know. It's the bookstore over there. I know. So volatile in this dictionary, adjective, liable to sudden change, especially in behavior, evaporating quickly. And then on, what is this? The American Heritage Dictionary, I just put it into DuckDuckGo and I asked, and there were seven different definitions. It's adjective, evaporating readily at normal temperatures and pressures, capable of being readily vaporized, tending to vary often or widely, as in price, inconsistent, fickle, lighthearted, flighty, ephemeral, fleeting, tending to violence, explosive. So let's talk about this full moon now. So we have that definition. Please go grab a coffee or tea if you'd like to join me for a chit chat. Grab your journal. I'm going to give you some dates as to when this is happening, depending on your area of the world. And we're just going to get into the general grid because it's intense. And there's definitely, go back and watch my equinox and Libra season introductory video. I would say that that's a really helpful one to start off with. But I'm sorry, the dinosaur, I'm getting hot. I figured, honestly, we're going into Libra season, so it's like I knew I was gonna like put your hair up and stuff like that in the video. So it'll happen. But what is the note that I put in here? They don't see consequences. So we have Libra, the seemingly balanced scales. We're gonna I'll start over. I'll put this back on. Go grab your coffee or tea. I have one of each. And come back, pause the video. I have organic chai with nothing in it, and then I have a little bit of espresso as well for myself. And so it was interesting the way that certain parables are kind of like coming out for this channel, for this video. So they don't see consequences. I'll start with that, and then we'll Tarantino that shit and come back to the beginning. So it's the type of thing, the energy that I see on the grid is the type of thing where it's like you have so many people who like tea and so many people who like coffee. And you go to the cafe and you're like, you know what? And you sit down at the table, you've ordered your coffee and you just sit down and you're like, oh my God, I love my coffee. And the person next to you is just like, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I know we don't know each other, but you're drinking coffee and that's really upsetting to me because tea is incredible. Yeah. I'm maybe you're your own person. I have no idea, but to the view that I have in front of me, you are really bothering my perfect view of tea drinkers as far as the eye can see. So I need you to drink tea, or at least tell me that I'm right and that tea is the best, and that, you know, my way and view and everything that I've said and decided upon is the only way that exists in the world. I just need you to confirm that for me, stranger, now. And you just go like, I'm barely really, like, I'm just living my life and drinking my coffee. I'm really not going to participate in that hullabaloo. I'm just living my life, stranger. Please, like, live and let live, go with God. But, like, please leave me alone, or whatever you can say that is like, I know. Whatever version of no you say to this tea drinking person, like, I'm getting uncomfortable physically as I'm even saying this. And that tea drinker, you know, maybe like just looked in that moment like an absolute normal person, you know, equal as you, probably poops on the toilet the same way that you do, and is just like equal, no better than you, and just like worthy of love and worthy of, you know, understanding just as you are, but like, and just a random person, random stranger you've never seen before. With the energies that I'm seeing here, and we're going to talk about it, this is the type of energy that if that tea drinker does not have any sort of like meditative grounding, mental health awareness, personal responsibility, or any understanding of what's happening outside of their little bubble, like, I'm just going to say it, like, that could get violent. That could get super violent. This tea drinker could literally like smash their fucking cup and be like, if you don't fucking tell me that the way that I am visualizing the world is the way that you will say that the world is, I'm gonna come for you. Like, I jokingly had said about, like, I like was joking about Libras, and I've talked about this before, and I don't want to go into it. And I even said in the tarot reading yesterday, like, I don't like fear-based content at all, at all. The reason that I'm giving you all these parables, information, astrology, is so that you can prepare yourself knowing, say, okay, on this day, on the 29th of September, there's going to be so many people who are a bit unhinged, myself included. We're all affected by this. The healers, the starseeds, the light workers, the empaths, we are affected more than a lot of other people because we understand what's coming. So it's kind of like we're, you know, been prepping for surfing. We know that we can surf. We know we can smash that wave. We know, but we're like up there before all of y'all, and we're just like, like you can't get down when you're up on the wave. You got to just be up there. So expect there to be volatile energy this day, the 29th, and I think it's on a Friday for Gloucester, North Shore, Massachusetts, Eastern Standard Time, 29th of September, 5:57. Gold Coast, we're looking at the 29th of September, 1957. And Central Time, is that going to be an hour earlier? So that'll be 4:57 Central Time. So this is, and for full moons, the reason that I give the date and the time is because all we need is an exact opposition. For when the sun in Libra is in the exact opposition to the moon in Aries. And this is happening at 6 degrees exactly. There's so many times that like it's 6 degrees, so many minutes, yada, yada, yada. So if you're into numerology, definitely take a look at the number 6 and what that means for you. And I really like, yeah, let's just get into the astrology, because like I said, I don't want to do like fear-based stuff, but that's what I was saying. So anticipate this happening, but put the lens of the egg theory in front of it. Truly. You're the only one here. I'm another version of you, your friends are another version of you, your partner's another version of you, your kiddos are another version of you, your boss is another version of you. Like, it's you and God having this human experience. That's it on this planet. So if you use that type of mentality, can you handle volatile energy at 6 degrees of Aries? If so, ground, get ready, put on your rocks and stones, and go out there and be calm, cool, and collected. I've talked about like how to deal with certain things in the world for months now. Pretend that you're on human safari and just go, oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. This tea drinker's screaming in my face. That's interesting. Nope, I'm not going to, really engage with you because I can't do that because there's no middle ground here. So I'm just going to take what you're saying. I'm going to leave the room and I'm going to unpack this with my VIPs and kind of decide like what's best for me moving forward. But thank you for this information and this lesson of like how strong I am dealing with someone screaming at me in public. That's super cool. So let's look at the astrology a little bit and then I'll just kind of like, with that being said, if you need to, take a motherfucking personal day now. Like I'm posting this probably today. Today's the 21st, so I'm giving you a week and a day to prepare. If you need to take a long weekend, take a long weekend. If you work in service, it's like that's the only thing that servers, the restaurant industry, y'all get it. When it's the full moon, comment below. If you work in service and you've ever worked a full moon in like waitering, yeah. Tell me your story. Tell me your war story. There have been times that I've worked on the full moon. When was it? The full moon in Aquarius, I worked and it was really, really, really wonderful. Like I felt strong going into it. I was ready. It was happening in my third house of communication. So I was able to like energetically and vibrationally speak in parables to my customers and just like, or I worked in my restaurant job that day. I've worked a full moon in Sag. That's okie dokie. I attempted to work the last full moon in Pisces at 7 degrees in my fourth house of house and home. That happened down here. I know I'm speaking from I statements, but I'm just going to give a little bit of an understanding. Like that is safety, home, my pocket of the world. I attempted to work a normal human job. Had a like violent physical pain reaction and physically could not, like they had to send me home early. Like I was like mostly in the bathroom that day. I'm sorry to overshare. But like, so flow with the current, like surrender to the current, as I've always said. But for this one, I would really recommend to be in a very sacred space with very sacred people and maybe doing some sacred ceremony. Maybe you do a group healing or group meditation to get together and like watch a really funny movie. Like if this is Aries energy, like let's like, or if you have a partner, if you have a cuddle buddy, if you have a husband or a wife, like plan a little bit of a sexy time day, like channel some good energy in, maybe make a baby if you're keen for those. Like this, use the volatile energy for good instead of negative, because if you do not have this language, it's just almost because we're in Libra season, and maybe because we're in Libra season, people don't understand the irrationality of the Aries way, which is like, if Aries is having a reaction, let them have their reaction, because 10 minutes later, they're going to be fine. And 10 minutes later, they're going to be like, why is everyone crying? And why is everybody bloody? And why do I have knives in my hand? Like, it's just like you don't really recognize that you're screaming at someone until it's over and you've destroyed them with beautiful, eloquent words, and could have possibly destroyed a friendship, relationship, whatever the fuck it is. But like, this is volatile energy in a sense that like, I want to say irreparable damage, to be honest, or irreparable damage to wherever this is falling in your chart. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Okay, let's get into the planets and where they are, and we'll just chat a little bit about the astrology. And, you know, as always, when I'm talking to you and I'm open and I'm channeling, my guides come through and they sometimes have different messages for us. So I'm going to see what comes through, because like I'm physically feeling this energy right now. So we have the sun over here, and then this is the general wheel, the general astrological wheel, which starts at the first house in Aries and goes all the way around to the 12th house, which is Pisces run. And so right now we are in the sun just went into our 7th house. So it's kind of like the midpoint of the astrological year over here. So we're looking a little bit right now for this coming quarter for just, we're looking at relationships, the important people. The descendant sign is how we see the world, like what we think we need in another, but in sense, because it's like the opposition of who we are, this is also some lessons, not lessons, that's what a rising sign is, like we can incorporate some of these tools into our toolbox. That would be advantageous. I'll just use like the Aries infant baby, like the baby and daddy rolled into one, could probably use a little bit of balance and a little bit of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Compromise? Is that the right word? I don't really know what that means, but like, so just in that sense. And so we're at 6 degrees of Libra here, and we're at the exact opposition of 6 degrees Aries here. So this is the sun and the moon. And it's close enough, it's a 6-degree orb, but like this is the foundational axis. Like this line and then this line here is like you're setting up your house. This is your home. Solid foundation, those 4 walls. And so it might feel for all of us like that our safety, our relationships, everything's a little bit shaky. Everything's a little bit wobbly. It's not. We're going through an awakening and an ascension. This is why I give you this information so we can say, oh my God, I feel like I'm falling apart on the inside. Wait, my alien friend Sarah told me about that. Maybe I'm just going to take a long weekend and feel this feeling at home, not around other people. Not around other people. We have like... And also, just look a little bit, you know nothing of astrology. What do we see on this grid? We see kind of a whole bunch of planets on one side, and then a whole bunch of planets on the other side. Opposite. Opposite. And these are all our outer planets. This is Pluto retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Chiron retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, and Uranus retrograde. Those are all our outer bodies, generational planets. This planet is going to take about 21 years to go from here to here. Whereas the moon goes around in a few days, years, 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 years. So these are our outer planets affecting, and please go back and watch the equinox video. I'm not going to repeat every little bit of what I had said there. I'm just showing the, like, Libra is about the scales, the balanced scales, but it's also like they're 2 sides. They never just, when you're balancing the scales, it doesn't just like click and you're like, okay, everything's balanced and even. It's a constant ebb and flow. So we have opposite sides. We're balancing this and we're balancing this. These are our inner planets over here. We have the sun, we have Mars, we have Mercury, and we have Venus. This is Black Moon Lilith, and I've just put out an entire video on Lilith and kind of an introduction to that. I'm covered in paint. I share a little bit of my artistic side. So definitely go check out that video. I'll put the link to that below. Because that has a very interesting 9-month transit, and we're right at the 29th degree, which is the like critical degree, the anoretic degree, the shit or get off the pot degree. So, and this is happening in the sign of Leo. So I find that this placement, this is just coming to me right now, that if your pride, Leo, the lion, is in any way, in your opinion, based on your emotional maturity level, if someone pokes at your pride, you're going to want to go full hog on them. But remind yourself that like Scar was also a lion. So check yourself. Check yourself. So I look at that. That's happening in our house of creativity, play, romance, childlike spirits, kiddos, and joy. Like I said, very last degree, if you're in a really happy spot, hop on that pop, make some kiddos, Venus in that house. Good energy for that. Really, really good energy for that. Mercury's in our house of everyday life, practical service. Mercury has also come out of its like retrograde period. It was retrograde for a little while, I'm not gonna lie. And all of the 2023 Mercury retrogrades have been an earth sign. So we had one in Taurus season, we have one over here, and then the end of the year it's gonna be in Capricorn. So what does that tell me? That says we're setting very, very healthy, proper foundations for our lives moving forward. Things might seem still a little bit chugga because we have all these motherfuckers retrograde over here, and it's just, that's okay. That's okay. This is only your human that's going to flounder thinking that we need to be productive and do this and no. Give it to the fucking moon. Give it to the fucking moon. So, and this is another little like earmark that I want to stop and say, like, Mercury is still in your house of everyday life and practical service. This is your job. So we have Saturn and we have Neptune over here. This is the health axis. This is your daily habits axis over there. So if you're popping off and shit like that, then like maybe your boss is going to just be like, can you just, no. They're going to be just as volatile as you. So if you pop off at work and you say or do the things, they're going to be just as volatile. So just like check yourself, you know? You see what I'm saying? See how this all kind of floats together? And Pluto's over here retrograde in our house of legacy, public life, and career. Yeah, I know I've talked for a while about like you can't fuck this up if you tried, but like if you are meant to be famous, but you've chosen a very, very negative mindset and a very, very negative path, then yeah, there's infamy. Is that the word to use? There's like a way to be known for bad things instead of good things. So although you can't fuck up your life, your abundances, all the things, but you can have it in a good way, you can have it in a bad way. There's good money, there's bad money. There's selling, you know, part of your soul for fame and fortune and stuff like that. And then there's staying sovereign and being in control of your thoughts, words, actions, and intentions. And then you get off the karmic train and stuff like that. So I know that I don't have to repeat that for this community, but if you have any questions or if that didn't make sense, my email address is listed below. Please, we can book a call. We can chit chat a little bit about what's going on right now. So I'll just leave that there. We also, and I've talked about this before, I have a whole video just on the nodal transits as well as Mars in Libra, this little collection over here. This is where the volatile energy comes in. So definitely go watch that Mars transit video. I'll put the link to that below because this is South Node. This is our collective past life, comfortable, codependent relationships, all the shitty things that we're releasing and purging as a collective. And it's super gross. It's really gross. This has been like your gross dreams. This has been all of like the sexual things that you used to like. You're like, wow, that really doesn't jive with me anymore. Maybe relationships that you're like, I really don't appreciate this friend group anymore. I don't appreciate any of this anymore. And sometimes it can be just like a vibrational thing. It might not make sense to your human's reptilian brain, but think about how much time does it take you to build yourself up, to see a person, go to a space, do all the things, and then how much time does it take you to come back down from that? Because your time is precious in human form. For myself, I'm getting off the mothership. This is my last human life. I'm very, very grateful and excited for that, but that's why I put so much out there. So once my human is dead, you'll have this information. But truly, like, this is, I'm cognizant of that. Your time is precious. So if you need to build yourself up and then unpack afterwards, why do you have to do that? Why do you have to go to that place? And if you can find a different place that you don't have to do this, and you can just be like, yeah, or a person or a friend group, just know that that's available on this planet because you exist on this planet. They exist because you exist. South Node, North Node, Aries, Libra. I balance. So South Node is releasing and just asking you, we all have free will, so you don't have to believe in this. You don't have to. Somebody asked me the other day, and I'll share this tiny little aside, this tiny little thing. Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, what do you do when you come across someone who doesn't believe in astrology? And I was like, wow, that's a really interesting question. Vibrationally, I don't get that many people that are like angry about it or that are just like, astrology isn't real. I like get people that either at my tables at the restaurant that don't really speak that language. So, it's fine. They're just like, oh, she's a little woo-woo, that's funny. But after that question was asked, the very next shift, I had a table as a two-top, and I always ask every single table, what are we celebrating today? And so that table, she goes, oh, it's my birthday. Or the gentleman had said it's her birthday and it's a Virgo birthday. She's like, well, it was yesterday. So she needed to make sure that I had like the full disclaimer. And I just asked, like, as I was watering them, like, what do you love most about being a Virgo? And she goes, oh my God, I am obsessed with my health and wellness and all of this stuff. And she goes, but I actually don't believe in it. And I go, oh, okay. okay. And I was just like floating above myself, being like, interesting, Sarah, you just contracted this. Let's watch. I Zach Morris, and I was like, let's see what happens. And I go, oh, that's really interesting to me. This is what I do for a living. And so I don't remember exactly. I didn't ask. I just let it be. I was like, oh, that's fascinating. I'm on the complete opposite side, but like, that's amazing. Oh, she had said, she goes, oh yeah, there are some like archetypal things about it that do make sense to me. And she goes, my daughter had a reading once, a tarot reading, and it just really resonated, and it just kind of opened her eyes to a bunch of different things. And this is when it happened. She goes, this adult woman, maybe in her 50s, 60s, was talking to me, and then she literally goes, yeah, but when I was a kiddo, I would read my stupid horoscope every single day. I'd read that stupid horoscope every day. So from my perspective, I was floating above myself, and I just viewed this woman's wounded inner child. And there was a moment at some point that maybe someone made fun of her, or somebody just judged her, or something happened. She got hurt. And I just sent her love. I was like, she does not have any fucking clue that her inner child just came out. I'm just going to like listen and just say, wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with me. That's so special. And I just, God went home that night, and I was so grateful for this person in this moment. And I just thought it was really interesting. Another really interesting fact is that I saw her the next day at the cafe, which was like, I found that to be even more poignant. And she did not come over and say hello to me. I'm, at Cafe Sicilia, and I'm, in my journal or pulling cards. And like, please always, if you ever see me out at the cafe, just please always come over. And if you're keen for a card reading, or if you have a question, absolutely, I could do that. Like, if I'm open and keen, like in a donation-based way, we can book something. But it's... I'm like surrounded by like all the Italian and Sicilian guys, and it's just me pulling cards and stuff. So it's so I know that with that being said, maybe she had thought about it. Yeah, I know I was thinking about her, and she might have been thinking about me in that moment. So it was a really interesting, I wanted to share that with you. So that's how you can kind of tell when someone who does not have, this is a very gentle way for you to see someone's inner child, someone's inner adolescent, just kind of like come out. You can kind of see like there was a wound there, There's no reason for that adult woman to utilize the phrase stupid horoscope. She almost like went like that. You can tell that there's a wound there. It's sometimes, no, I don't want to. Okay, Jesus. So I'm sometimes just talking to my higher self and my guides and just being like, do I tell them this? Do I tell them this? Do I tell them this? So it's like I'm having a few different conversations as I'm recording this. So I apologize if sometimes I'm a little off. But it's one of the energetic vibrations that I can see a lot of within the wound of the inner child of adult men who maybe don't have emotional maturity and understanding. I know that I can see that view. I, have been really dealing with my own parental issues. So I know that like when you're healing something, you can kind of see it in the outside world and then it eventually dissipates. But one of the ways that like my guides and like my view is that I used to call it like my wildly overactive imagination, but now it's like I can see different views, or if someone's energy is kind of like screaming off of them, I can see it. And I live in Gloucester, live on an island. It's a fishing community. It's a beautiful little town, little city, pardon me. And there's so many times that it's the archetypal, like gentleman that is maybe like the breadwinner of the family. It might be like the company was passed down from grandfather to son, and then or father to son. And usually it's like a larger, like a taller man with a very, very outward belly, a big, big, big belly. You know, this is an archetype. I'm not talking about a specific person, an archetype. And usually when it comes to like excessive weight gains in certain areas of your body, it's like your body is looking to protect whatever chakra or whatever area of your body you don't feel safe within. So that big belly is protecting your safety, your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, your root chakra, and it's protecting that area where maybe you don't feel safe. And so many times, all I see is this little boy. It's like a big man in his 50s or 60s, and all I see is this little boy with a stick that just wanted to go fishing, and he's like kicking his feet. That's what I'm doing underneath the table. He's just kicking his feet. I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to be responsible. I don't even know how to balance a checkbook, but I do because I have more coming in than I do going out. And it's like we've given this idealization to these people where if they don't have emotional understanding or maturity, volatile energy, the inner child just comes right out. The inner teenager just comes right out. I think in the Libra introduction video, I gave another example of someone's inner adolescent coming out that was really dangerous. So if you don't have this understanding of all of these beings that live inside of you that are not you, your inner child is a component of yourself. Your inner adolescent is an aspect of yourself. Your higher self is like there with you at all times. And your future self is trying to just like scream into the void like, hey, you could do this. You could say this. Be the best, most authentic version of yourself. Don't go in that room anymore. Don't go there, Sarah. Don't do it. So all that being said, stay home. I really feel like stay home if you can, or be so cognizant of the fact that like expect volatile energy. Expect it. What if you pretend that you're a celebrity? I've used this parable so many times before. And you have fans, millions of fans all over the planet. There's paparazzi. It's like you're famous, but like in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. So it's like paparazzi everywhere, magazines, all of that stuff. So you can choose to go VIP and be with just your people and be incognito and, go out the back instead of the front. Or you can choose to go out the front door, have all the pictures being taken. Just pretend that there will be a heckler. There will be someone who's trying to just like rain on your parade. So if you have to go out there, expect that, so then you can just walk on past it. If you don't have to go out there, amazing. Talk to some VIPs and set up a really sacred spiritual event, a healing event for yourself. Have the girls over, have the gents over, do a movie night, do a spa day, funny stuff, laugh, meditate. Give the equal and opposite positive reaction to this. If we know out there there's going to be fights and negatives and stuff like that, then go home and meditate and send love to everyone. Send love to the planet. Send love. Libra is run by Venus. Aries is run by Mars. Okay? So let's try to go back to the Libra side. Try to go back to the middle ground. Try to be like, I don't really care if you drink tea. I don't really care. Like sometimes I drink tea, sometimes I drink coffee. But whatever I choose to do with my life in my reality is I am autonomous. I am sovereign. I am in control of my thoughts, words, actions, and intentions. This is me, not you. I'm not here to upset you. I'm just living my life. There's still like this odd little pit in my belly. What do you want to say, guides? Be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared. Whatever that means for you, be prepared. In the same way that you prepare when there's a big snowstorm or a big hurricane, just expect that, but in humans, in human form. Expect lightning bolts. Look at Uranus. Expect all the things to just be. You're safe to set boundaries and to say no. You're safe to not comply. People are just people. No one is better than the other. Trust your own authority. Trust your own judgment and your own guides. maybe connect to your own guides this full moon and ask them for help and guidance in ways that you normally look to healers for. Start to nourish your own practice of self-healing and self-love. You are your own radio. You are your own radio. Find the channel that you wish to attune to and open, clear, and listen. No more fluoride, and keep your waters clean. Is there anything else? No. That's all for today. Please comment below any questions that you might have for me or any feelings that you might have that are coming up for you. Where is this falling in your chart? What house is run by Aries, and where is 6 degrees of Aries falling for you? For me, this is happening by 1 degree on top of my natal Jupiter in my 5th house. Creativity, play, and childlike spirits. So I'm going to do a full reading for myself and my chart, and I'll post that. I'm going to do a full moon reading, so it can kind of show you a little bit of how I do my individual readings and what that could look like for you and how different they are. So I'm going to use my table grid for that and not this one, because I have my natal planets as well as the planets that are transiting over that. So I will put that up for you right meow. I'll do that in the next, I'll probably record that today. But I do want to get these up for you, all of the individual rising sign readings. I want to get that up for you ASAP. And all of the readings that I do, the individual sign readings, the grid is going to be set up for the rising sign, but it can always be watched by your sun sign or your moon sign. You can also watch this for your kiddos, your partner's sign, to kind of get a little bit of a vibe about what they might be going through. Even if they don't have this language, this is what's being affected right now. So even if no one has this language, we're all going into a new season, whether it be in the southern hemisphere and you're coming into spring and summer and you're looking for somebody to kind of rub up against and have a hot girl summer, like, oh my God, this is gonna be good. And then we're going into autumn for this equinox, so we're all like, all right, who's my cuddle buddy this winter? What's going on? Yeah. I know I've reassessed my values and stuff like that, but my ex is just glowing up, so I just want to hop in there and stuff like that. Don't do that. So just be prepared. I know I referenced Scar and The Lion King in this one, but yeah, we're good. That's it. Please reach out directly for a private reading. There are links below listed if you're ever keen to tip or to donate. I have my Venmo over there. I have my PayPal over there, as well as I have a private Patreon group if anyone is keen to give back on a monthly basis. That would be amazing. I appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, crazy times we're in. Cuckoo pants times we're in. But this is like, the worst is over. They keep saying this is just like final stands. Pluto. The worst is definitely over. But yeah, set up something sacred this full moon. Let me know what you're going to be doing. I'm not going to be at my restaurant job. I'm going to be offering, I think, some one-on-ones or maybe a small group healing that day. I'm not really sure, but it would be in like the beginning, middle part of the day. So if you're keen, please let me know. Yeah, we're going to be fine. We're going to be great. I love you.